Hi, welcome back to another episode of the PPC Strategy Hub. We talk a lot about bids, keywords, quality score on this channel, match types, a lot of match type stuff. But today I'm going to talk about something different, mindset. Over the past few years, I've worked with tons and tons of business owners. And I have worked with business owners that are successful in their Google Ads accounts, and they're running them completely by themselves. Welcome to the Google Ads Strategy Hubcast. Today, we're going to talk about the business owners that are doing well in their ads accounts and what they're doing differently. Because I guarantee you the mindset that I see between a business owner that's doing really well and a business owner that's really struggling are completely and totally different. I've seen people that are just constantly spinning their wheels, and the difference isn't a secret. It's not a bid strategy. It's not a completely amazing keyword. It is a different mindset and a different way of thinking. So let's talk about what successful Google Ads owners are doing differently. The first thing is they're not obsessed with perfection. I think a lot of people when they're starting out get obsessed with the idea that their ad campaigns have to be perfect. All the assets have to be perfect. Everything needs to be this unachievable level of perfection. But the shift is really their relationship with the data. They're not obsessed with attribution. Look, I get it. You want to know if a lead came from an exact Google search or if they saw an exact ad and then they typed in your business name later. But here's the reality. Google is really complex and the data is super, super messy. The successful business owner knows that their phone is ringing more, they're getting more quote requests, their business is growing, and they accept that Google takes credit for pretty much everything, and they don't waste hours trying to build that $5,000 multi-touch dashboard to prove $100 worth of sales. They're looking at the bottom line. Are the ads working? Is that contributing to growth at a profitable rate? Yes, keep going, keep spending, keep working in Google Ads. The second thing they're doing is they accept the way Google works. Google is not a perfect system. They're not fighting that algorithm. They're using Google automation. They're using more of the machine learning, and they're less worried about the exact match keywords. I'm sorry to tell you, they are using mostly smart bidding strategies. In fact, most successful business owners I'm seeing are not manually bidding. I'm just going to say it. That takes so much time and emotional energy. They've just accepted that this is a reality and they've said, okay, this is the environment. How do I adapt? How do I lean into it? How do I make my life easier? So they're using smart bidding. They're using a lot of times a broad match where it makes sense. They're working within the system, not against it. It saves them mental energy in that they're putting that mental energy into running their actual business. They're actually using me differently. They're using me as a checkup. This is a fun one. It shows a real maturity in how they approach the expertise. They call me for a regular checkup. They'll have me audit the account, sometimes quarterly. They're not hiring me to run the whole thing. They're hiring me as a specialist, kind of like if you had a primary care doctor and they're referring you to a cardiologist. They know the basics. They know how to execute day to day, but they bring me in for that quarterly audit or a deep dive session. And they say, hey, we've been doing this. What do you see that we don't? This is what I think I'm seeing. And it's a high leverage strategy that costs them less money and leverages me as an actual expert. They're an expert in their business. I'm an expert in Google Ads. And because of that, their questions over time slowly get more detailed and smarter. And I can almost see that shift happening in them. We're not talking about what is a keyword anymore. They're asking about geo-targeting adjustments. They're saying, well, this is what worked and this is what didn't. They're coming to me with questions. They're looking at the bid strategies and should we experiment with this or should we not? They're not really getting into that what is and the deep, deep obsession with the metric that really doesn't matter. They sometimes ask about performance max, but they kind of know in their heart it may not be right for them. They're building a foundation of knowledge, and our calls are super productive at that point. They actually don't get weird about their weaknesses. I think this is another major, major difference. I have met a lot of business owners, and they're extremely human, and they don't know what they don't know. And they accept that, and they don't get weird about it. They don't have a huge ego around the Google Ads platform. I have one client that they still haven't gotten their conversion tracking down. And this would have Google Ads specialists running for the hills screaming, oh my gosh, I can't believe you would ever run Google Ads without conversions. And the business owner said to me, my phone is ringing. I cringe every time because I think they're a sitting duck and vulnerable to the algorithm going in the wrong direction, but it hasn't yet. They're getting the calls. They're accepting the fact that it works. I would never recommend this to a client starting out. Every phone call we get on, I tell them you need your conversion tracking down. But again, they're so close to the phone that they're not really desperately worried about it until they are. I have another business owner that never adds negative keywords. We talk all the time on this channel about the importance of negative keywords. And I'm absolutely positive because I've audited their account that there is some waste in there. But here's the thing, their campaigns are still profitable. They've decided to focus on the 80% that brings in the money for their business and let the other 20% slide. Again, it pains us as Google ad managers to see this, but this is how real business owners are operating differently. They're not getting bogged down in the very small minute-to-minute details. They're valuing progress over perfection. It's like the minimum viable product type of mentality there. They're connected to the back end. And I think this is one that you probably didn't see coming because you probably thought I was going to say like, oh, they have some sophisticated offline lead tracking system. Again, topics that you see come up over and over again in Google Ads channels is how you can get better, is you can upgrade your system. But these people, when I say they're connected to the back end system, they're the ones answering the phones. They're the ones that are looking through the leads coming in. The person that is running the ads is the same person that hears the phone calls. And they're the ones talking to the customers. So they make that direct connection in their mind. They ask that customer, how'd you hear of us? And they can make that connection versus using the technology. There's the human side to it. So they're seeing the quality of leads. And this connection gives them a powerful feedback loop that's different than the technology feedback loop that we're constantly recommending in Google Ads. They don't need a fancy report to tell them that plumbing leak keywords are bringing in better high quality ticket jobs than drain cleaning keywords because they've just booked 2 calls about this. So they really are bringing in that street level intelligence into their Google Ads. And it lets them make better, faster decisions in Google Ads than any software ever could. So if you're running your own ads and you're feeling frustrated, take a step back. Stop chasing that perfection. Stop watching Google Ads tutorial after tutorial after tutorial. Stop chasing that perfect attribution model and accept the platform as it is. Don't try to beat it. Try to focus on where you're at today. And I always say that in my business. I meet business owners where they're at today. Focus on the bottom line. Stay curious. Stay connected to what's happening and look at what's happening after the click. And that is the real secret to why some business owners are successful on the platform. Others just continue to spin their wheels. That's all for today's PPC Strategy Hub podcast. In fact, I may just go post this as a video real quick on a Sunday because I really woke up thinking, what could business owners really learn? And really, I think looking into the eyes of someone who's running it successfully is something that I don't see in other channels. And so I really wanted to give you a reality check of what the difference is between my successful clients versus my ones that are really on the struggle bus. If you want to book a checkup session and audit your own campaigns and start to get to the place where you're just doing this with ease and it's second nature, you know where to find me. I'm here. I'm over on LinkedIn. You can book a call anytime, and I will see you next time in the next video. Happy Sunday.